Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. I'm going to do a deck profile here. This is going to be a another Bermuda Triangle build. Since like Dazzling Divas came out. Other than the Prism build, which is an okay deck, I've been trying to work on, well, not just me and my girlfriend Lori, because it's her deck and what her favorite clan. We've been working on it. And we've been talking about things we've both noticed while playing with like different builds and stuff like that, and we've both through both our insight have come to like conclusions and stuff. While the Prism deck is very cool, it's actually a good deck, and it has its thing and stuff, and it's a consistent deck. The problem we've found with the deck is it's a slow deck. It doesn't get moving until like turn 4. You don't do anything for quite a while, at least until you start limit breaking. And while it hits good numbers, you're not doing anything those first few turns and not applying pressure. That hurts, especially since when you do your Labrador move, you're getting all this power and a crit. And it could be more threatening if you had forced your opponent to use up shields in those first few turns of the early game, so that by the time you get that off, it isn't that threatening because your opponent hasn't had to use their shields. So that's the problem we found with it. So we've been trying to hybrid what we've learned from both our points of view and coming up with new Vanguard 3s for the deck and stuff. So this is what we've come up with. This deck, I don't know what to call it. It's basically just a very hybrid style of Bermuda Triangle. It's very good. It's been running best of all the builds we've tried, which we've obviously done all the old ones. Pacifica Cross Ride deck, Prism Break Ride deck, the Chain Ride for, I think her name's Aurora, which she has been very, 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 very disappointing. But, so this is what we're coming up with. After all that talking, I'll finally get to the profile. Starting Vanguard, Prism Smile, she is basically just solid. She's a 5k boost, and she ends up being a free 10 shield during the game. So for the trigger lineup, we have 6 crit, followed by 6 draw, and then last 4 heal. Onto the grade 1s. We have 4 Emmy, our perfect guard. We have 3 Perle, or Pearl, whatever you want to call her. I'm not even going to try to do the names right, whatever, I don't care. I'm not even going to read. She obviously applies pressure, and you can bounce her, so, and she's a solid 7k boost. So as I was saying before, the problem we discovered was a lack of pressure early game, so this card obviously is to help apply pressure early game. Next we have 4 clear, 7k boost, so it's solid, and when it bounces you give somebody that +4, and this card doesn't require a counter blast, it's just a soul blast. So this card has been very useful, and it can, by doing off your combos and stuff, it can help certain rows hit that next like stage of magic numbers and stuff. So then we have 3 of the 8 Claire Sedna. Obviously 8k vanillas don't really need an explanation for why they're good. If you're gonna want an explanation here, it's probably why I'm playing 3 and not 4 when I'm playing 4 of the clear and all the other ones. I'm playing 3 of her because I found clear to be more viable. The ability to bounce and pump is proven over the test of time of playtesting to be more important than just being a solid card all the time. And since the grade 3s in this deck are 11s, even a 17 with an 11 hits 18, so the grade 2s starters, there are 3 of the 10k vanilla Aqua. Aqua's in here just to be a solid hitter. I'll get to her a little bit in a minute. Part of the reason we're playing Aqua, not only because she's a vanilla beat stick, is because we're playing 3 pretty celeb Charlotte. Charlotte is, as I've talked before, another card that's going to help apply pressure, especially early game. Which, as I said, was the problem the deck's having. So, her applying pressure early game is what we need. And to make sure her effect's viable, we need to make sure we're going to have enough solid cards in hand in terms of power that she can swap out for. The card she's going to call will be threatening. So that's why there are the 3 10k vanillas. However, we don't need that many, so that's why there's only 3. Because don't forget, you can always make a full rearguard column with Charlotte, and then have another rearguard column that's only a front row attacker, get Charlotte to hit, bounce her, and then put out a grade 1 behind that other rearguard column that hasn't attacked yet. So you make another full rearguard column on the other side. To apply even more pressure, we have the 4 Perla. Obvious, we're coming to this point if we're playing the other sister, but she clearly applies pressure. If you let her hit, you get to bounce a card, which could trigger their ability. When you team her up with her sister, you obviously don't want to let that hit because they'll draw a card, bounce a sister so that they can do it more than once. She helps bounce and trigger the starting Vanguard, and if you team her up with clear and that hits, and then you bounce clear and then pump another column to hit the next stage, and she's a good card. And then our last grade 1 is Rock Girl Rio. Only 1 because we don't want to go too crazy. She's not very powerful, and she can be a big attack target for things like the end if you put her in the front row. But she is there to help us get pluses, obviously, because that's what she do when she bounces. And having her out there, sometimes Perla isn't that much pressure when there's not anything super special that you could bounce. So having cards like her that you don't want to let the opponent bounce is what helps apply the pressure. So, and then grade 3s, we have 4 Vert, the Break Ride, solid. It helps. It's very important in this build to kind of ride her first. She can hit big easily as long as you can keep your field at least mostly full, and then break riding her helps trigger cards like Rock Grill and Clear and stuff, and help you apply pressure and keep pushing hard. Riding more than one of these in a game is actually a big deal of how it works. That's why we're running 4. You don't always have to run 2. Obviously, you're not going to ride 2 of them in the same game, but obviously, break rides are good. Then next, we have 2. What's her name? Rainbow Light Kareen. Rainbow Light Kareen is a 10k boost, 10k beater who, when bounces, can draw you a card. So as I said previously, it's to help put pressure on the field, and then when your combos go off, you get those +1s off it, as well as it's not terrible being a 10k beater. Obviously, she's a terrible Vanguard, but. And then our last grade 3 are 2 Eternal Isle Pacifica. She's kind of like your late game Vanguard. You most likely will break ride her. She'll be really powerful. You'll be able to use her Limit Break, comboing off with cards like Rainbow Light Kareen and Clear. So being able to bounce your Starting Vanguard, pull out an Interceptor like Aqua, who's a 10k beater, and get another attack in, and she's an 11k. Once you usually do that, if you haven't won the game with that move, you've pretty much run out of gas at that point in terms of your combos usually. You usually won't have really any other like skill-based moves to do during the game. It's just going to be a grind out game. However, you've probably built up enough resources and applied enough pressure up to that point in the game that you should be able to win the grind out, or at least put a very good fight. So yeah, that covers this. Oh, I almost forgot. Now you've seen like the rest of the deck. As for the trigger lineup, the 6 crit 6 draw, we came to that conclusion because grade 3s play a big role in this build, especially since the break riding. Break riding plays a big role, so being able to break ride, as well as being able to make sure you get to Pacifico for your late game Vanguard, is kind of important. So we upped it to 6 draw, 6 crit, to have the added draw power to help us keep getting to those cards we need. So, yeah, thank you for watching. This has been a really long video, but thank you for sticking in there.